patriotic family fun for not just your family, but for the entire neighborhood. Rally all the kids and all the bicycles, all the wagons, the strollers, the tricycles, plan a route around the block and have your own red, white, and blue children's parade to celebrate the 4th of July. The idea for this children's parade comes to us by one of our favorite creative minds, Aimee Ferre, and I just keep coming back to the word charming. This sounds so incredibly charming. Describe the idea.
Well, so when Matt and I first moved into our Sugar House neighborhood, we had just had our little baby and she was 10 months old, and we get this flyer talking about this neighborhood parade and, you know, potluck afterwards.
And this was new to you.
This was totally new to me. We didn't really grow up celebrating the 4th of July in Arizona. Too hot, a lot of other reasons. But anyway, we got this flyer, and so we decked out the jogger. I mean, I've got streamers. I've got, you know.
I can do
so
this.
We had little white sunglasses for her and tied a little bandana around and called it good and went on the parade. And I realized after that episode that this is going to change next year. We are going to step this up. So that's how this all happened.
And it continued to unfold year after year. I understand you even made outfits to coordinate with the parade
after just finding a red bandana, that was not going to work every year. So I started as soon as I learned how to sew, I was sewing shorts and skirts, and I mean, we did the whole thing. The whole
neighborhood got on board with this idea.
It's a great thing for neighborhoods to do.
What was the vibe? What was the feeling?
It was, you know what, a lot of times you don't know all your neighbors on backside streets.
Sure.
It was kind of, it was almost like a neighborhood reunion. Like, we're coming out of the snow and into the summer, and it was a way to connect, and it was a way to know people in the neighborhood and around you that you didn't maybe always know.
Well, to me, the 4th of July is actually my favorite holiday because of the simplicity, and I love that this doesn't take away from that. It's still simple, right? It's a solid celebration in simple fashion. You added over the years your own kind of vintage folk art style to these bikes, to these trikes. Can you talk us through some of the designs that you've pulled off?
Yeah, so on the bike, let's just kind of start with the cruiser.
I love this so much.
I love that bike too, and my girlfriend Christine Van Wagenen, that was her husband's. He did a paper route with that years ago,
gosh.
And she saved it, and she had it up in her garage on a little shelf, as almost like a little shrine.
Oh my goodness!
And I loved it. I said, this is the perfect 4th of July bike. So I've got some hand sewn ruffles in there. These are not just normal streamers because, you know, we got to add a little bit.
We got to fluff those up.
Yep. So those are sewn, and I've had those on the blog before. I'll link you to the tutorial on how to do that.
And those are the ones in the spokes that have the
in the
ruffle
spokes.
edge.
You'll also notice in the spokes, I use just a common paper straw from the party store. We see those around a lot. You just take some scissors and cut up the middle and slip them in, and it kind of spruces up those less than chrome spokes that you see. It kind of brightens it up and makes it fun. On the basket I actually got from IKEA, it was just in their storage section, but you can clamp that down and fill it with candy. Or, you know, I've got horns in there. I've got my, the little sparkler looking, I don't know what those are, ribbon.
I mean, the ribbon is exploding out of that basic IKEA basket. All the touches and the drippings and the details, that is just the most charming, patriotic beach cruiser I've ever seen.
See the little straws too, the garland straws on the bar of the bike?
Yes.
That just kind of adds as you ride, it adds, you know, adds motion to that.
Of course it does.
So we love that.
Tell me about the trike.
So the trike, I wrapped the handlebars with gingham fabric.
Oh, that's fabric.
Nothing says summer barbecues and 4th of July like gingham to me. I love gingham.
True.
So, and then I added, right now trending is the raffia tassels, and I used it for a pom-pom. A little harder to make. You got to tie it tighter, use a stronger cord, but man, it adds fun to that.
The texture is just cool.
Yeah, and also on the handlebars, I've got some free downloads I'm offering to the KSL viewers today. Those little USA and Celebrate Freedom. You can pick those up on my website as well to add to your bikes and trikes.
Nobody does the handmade sign like you. I mean, the way that you just add the personal touch to each and every letter is so sweet. The wagon is a crowd stealer, I'm sure.
So the wagon, you know, your producer brought that to me, and I'm giddy over it. Giddy. You can turn that into a float. You know,
How did you do it? Show us.
So this is the kind of the showstopper here is the coffee filter. We called them flowers in the past. Oh, no, these are fireworks. So I've made them into little fireworks, and it's the dyed coffee filters. You can see over here on the garland.
Oh yeah.
I've taken coffee filters and dyed them, and that's what these look like. I just use those in a garland banner-like form.
Now, how did you get it to affix and hold to the wagon?
So glue gun. So I start off with a pool noodle. This is a great parade hack. Can I just tell you? you?
Please.
Because you can stick it on the edge of your wagon. You can stick it on a scooter. You can even stick it on the bar of a bike.
And then glue to that.
And so you glue it, you cover it with coffee filters, okay? I've cut a slit here. And then I just start gluing, and you glue and you just press until it sticks.
And we don't care because it's $1 pool noodle, right?
I mean, by the time you cut it in half, it's even less than that. But then it's great because you can just take it off and save it for the next year and not spend hours the next.
You've created a bunting of sorts.
I mean, remember the old parade floats where they took tissue paper and they glued it on, and it just created a puff, and you did like 4 million.
So this just pops off.
This just pops off.
Okay.
And you've got it. You can even put it on the handlebar. I mean, it's just kind of wherever it will stick.
Clever.
But it's just fun. I've used the coffee filters down here for the banner with some, I don't know if you can tell with the lighting, the glitter USA there. I've done some die cuts.
And the little license plate bumper there just steals the show.
And you can haul kids. You can even, I saw one year in Sugar House, they created the Statue of Liberty out of tinfoil.
Oh my gosh.
And it was awesome. It was awesome.
So there's kind of a creative edge to all of
and
this.
you get competitive. We don't, we never had prizes or anything like that. That was just the fun of it. Like, let's just see who could come up with the best.
I want to get into the structure side of it. Before we do, tell me about this banner.
So this was actually a table runner that Jenny Gochner is selling. And I said, Jenny, this is not a runner to me. This is a handheld banner in a parade. This is something you hang across your house,
This needs to be flanked by 2 majorettes on either side, marching down the
with
streets of Sugar House.
I mean, that's what I see with this, and I love these. I love these. These are all hand sewn. And then I've got the coffee filter wreath here, which is kind of the same concept as the wagon, but you could stick this on a truck, on your Ford, and have bunting on the side, and it just makes, it's a door wreath afterwards, but it's also a decoration for your car.
It does look like fireworks, doesn't it?
Yeah, doesn't it?
Popping out like that. Now, is this marching down the street, the sidewalk?
So
what's the route?
Whatever, an alley. We, in Sugar House, we walked around the block. It got a little hard for the littles because, they sort of abandoned their bikes and had mom and dad carry them by the end. But it can be whatever. You can get your parade, you can get your fire department you can ask them to block off the street for you.
If you want to make it a big affair.
But if you want to do that, but it's fun.
And what's the key to rallying the troops, so to speak, and getting them involved in the fashion that you did? I think that's where that investment is where the fun and the charm really comes to life.
After your first year, you're hooked. It takes none of that. I mean, obviously they have food afterwards or popsicles. I think in the neighborhood we do now, they do paste popsicles in red, white, and blue, so you're set with blue lips and red lips the rest of the day.
Oh, Aimee, I just love this idea. Of course we love you, and we appreciate you posting those freebies for us on your website. Remind us where we can find those.
AimeeFerre.com, or you can find me on Instagram at Aimee Ferre.
I want to do this. I think this is so sweet. Aimee, thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
We will link you over to Aimee's website. Whoops, I almost knocked over that beautiful carnation firework wreath. Don't let that happen. Don't let that go boom. Anyway, we'll link you over to Aimee's website from ours, studio5.ksl.com, for those free downloads. And we'd love to see pictures if you decide to host a neighborhood parade of your own, so be sure to keep us in mind as you snap and send those our way.